Very good evening to everybody. I hope I'm audible. My screen is visible. Just 5 people, can you drop me a text? Great. Thanks for that. Okay. I have about 1,000 participants available on Zoom. Anybody has any minor question that you want to raise about what we discussed yesterday? And I appreciate if we don't ask to repeat anything which is discussed. For that, you will have to refer the recording. Any problem that you faced when you try to redo the same activity yesterday? I'd be happy to answer. Thanks for that. So what's in it for you today? We will be talking about getting data from a particular source. 1 minute. Right. So now, let's say I have some raw data available, which can be viewed on your screen currently. Certain labels on the top which tells employee code, first name, last name, social security number, region, department, salary, start date, bonus, etc. Now, I, as a person or let's say a person working under you, is asked to reach out to these people, right? So now let's say that I have been given some amount of employee IDs and told, can you please get me their name, their maybe first name. What will you do? How will you try to gather some information? So I have a piece of information available here. I'm expected to get the first name of these folks, right? So I have employee ID here. I have employee ID here as well. Like we discussed about, if yesterday, is there any exam after completion? Yes, there will be assessment which will be uploaded online. There's a question here. Is there any exam after completion of the course? Yes, definitely there will be an assessment which will be assigned to you online. It is better if you answer. Better clarity will be given by the ExcelR team. You can drop a text or an email to them. Okay, let's get back to the topic. So I have a question here that I have some employee IDs and there is a database which has got all the employees available, and somewhere in this name is matching. Particularly this code is matching, but I don't know the first name. Now, if I have to do it manually, what I will do would be is just copy this, go to this screen. I used control page up to go toggle between sheets. Do a control F, which is find and enter. So I got the name, I copy and paste. Now I copy the next employee ID, go back to the fact table. This data is called as fact table because this is where the real truth lies, right? Right. So now I will say, please find, okay, the name is Rebecca. So I will pick up Rebecca and paste here. So I hope the problem statement is clear that you have some column and you need corresponding data of that particular column or from that column. So if I have employee code, I need first name, I may need last name, I may need social security number, region, etc., etc. So this can increase. So let's say I want region here. Let's say I want department here. So if you have to do a copy paste, you will have to do this. Go to the fact table, copy the information. I don't know where it is. Okay, these are the three stuff. I'm using control to do multiple cell selection. If you're puzzled what is happening, from where did you save this whole information? I'm not very sure what does this mean. From where did you saved this whole information? I'm a little not sure about the question. The person, whoever is raising this question, is a valid one. Can you please elaborate a little bit? It'll be helpful. Right, so let's get back. I hope the problem statement is clear that, you know what, you have a database that you maintain and you are being asked to gather certain amount of information into a different file. But here, not entire stuff is required. You need to put in only limited information. Now, how do we do it? Doing a copy paste is a very difficult job or a tedious process. More importantly, is that it will be inaccurate, right? So you are supposed to copy from here, maybe you will copy from here and paste it. So you end up doing mistake. To do away with this, we have a beautiful function in Excel, which is like most commonly asked question during interview. Do you know VLOOKUP? Right? What does VLOOKUP stand for? V stands for vertical, because most of the people whoever want to organize their data, they organize it in a vertical fashion. They don't go in horizontal. That's why HLOOKUP exists in system, which is horizontal lookup. But since our data is organized in vertical way, but both of the function works the same way, same attributes, no difference in the syntax, just that the first letter changes, HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. So now we are talking about VLOOKUP. I know that my data is arranged in a vertical way. Now I need to figure out some amount of information from this sheet to this sheet. So let's do the first one and try to get first name, right? So I will have to type VL and give a tab. I don't have to type the entire stuff. Select the cell where what you want to search, put a comma, and take to the sheet where you want to search. So I want to search it from here. So I don't want the first column. I already know the employee ID, but I need the second column. So I've selected two cells, which is A and B. So if you have smaller data set, you can select only limited information, but I always recommend to select the entire sheet. You never know where the data lies. So I have selected both the columns A and B. Remember, my data is in sheet 3, but I want to look up in raw data. That is my fact table. How many columns do you want? So here is the syntax for lookup. Lookup, you want to know where this particular value can be found. Then what is the column index? So I want the second column. So the first column is the employee ID, second column is the first name. So I will have to put a number here. It can be a negative value. It cannot be 0. So it cannot be 0. So it will always be 1 to the number of columns that you have selected. If you put anything more than that, then you get a ref error. If you put any text, the function will not work. Now it's asking us a question, how do or approximate is fine, right? So we'll talk about what is approximate match when we get a real get some real data. Let's talk about exact match. Exact is, I know that this particular employee I'm looking for is 100% available there, so I will use a 0, which stands for exact match, right? So let me read out the syntax to you again. Lookup value, then I need to know where I need to search for the information. Which column do you want as a result? Do you want it to be approximately matching or exactly matching? When you do a lookup having text data or IDs, you should always live with 0, never go with 1. There are very limited cases where you will use 1. I will give you test case or a used case here where we will use a 1 here. So now I got the first name. Let us cross verify if the name is matching. So I have the raw data here. Okay, coincidentally, I'm in the correct cell. The first name is Mickey only. Let me try searching the another guy, which is 73. Rebecca is the name. Data is not copied yet, so I will select it and do a control D or a copy paste. So the name is matching Rebecca. Let me see for the next employee ID if the name is matching. Yeah, Laila, it's matching. Let me see for the next one. William, is it matching? Yes, it is matching. Shannon, let us see. So we did our first lookup. If you have not tried it before and you're experiencing it for the first time, so good job. You learned something very new today. If you're new to it, if you're used to it, I will put a little extra clause here and explain you why you should be learning from here. Now I want the region as well. Now region is not available in second column. So I want the region, but it is available in fourth column. You can observe the screen here. I can see the number here, which is row column number 5. So that means I need to increase my range to 5 and also put the number 5 here. Now, how will I do it? I will have to rewrite the VLOOKUP again, put a comma, go back to the fact table, select 5 columns, put a comma and save 5 and close. So I got the region for each one of them. Now to do it for department, what will I do? I'll repeat the same activity again, put a comma, then go to this sheet and say department. Department is in 6th column and I copy paste. So I got all the information, but there are some problems. Let us see if anybody could highlight. I will definitely explain it again. Did you save this whole information? I don't know. So there is a question to, request to repeat the process again. So I hope by now we know what is the used case, right? If you want me to explain the formula again, the function again, I will do it. But the used case is understood that I don't have any of these information, but this information is available lying somewhere in this. If you want to get that, what you need to do, you need to make use of the function called VLOOKUP. Tell the system that data lying in cell A2, which is S029, is within A2. Please go find that within this area and get me the second column. How do you want to match? I want this S029 to be exactly same. So we use a 0, or you can type false as well. If I do so, I will get the same information directly here. So VLOOKUP has 4 requirements. First one is what you want to look up, where you want to look up, how many columns data do you want, the first one, second one, or third one. Just need to ensure that whatever size you have selected. So A to B are 2 letters, so you can put only 2 here or 1 here, not a 0, not a 3 or any other number, because the range is only till 2. Then the last argument is put a 0. So you want it exactly or approximately. It is optional. The optional arguments are identified with a square bracket, but if you leave it, it will take it as true by default. That means you will start getting wrong information, which you are not supposed to do. Try to do it. Please show on-screen keyboard. Okay, I can show you on-screen keyboard, but there was nothing in the on-screen keyboard. Fair. So I will delete the entire information again. I will go back and redo it again. So I say is equal to VLOOKUP. So I press tab, it will pick up this data. I'm telling please select A2, put a comma. Then I will go to raw sheet, select 2 columns because I have employee ID in the first column and I need the second column. So I put a comma and tell the system that I need second column and find exact match, right? If I'm done with it, I can say close the bracket. I generally prefer doing this, which is press a control enter. It will complete the formula. I will copy this information and apply to all. And control V. So I got all the information repeated to every ID which is available here. Now, what are few things that can create an issue? So let's say I type find employee ID as this. Okay. Now I will copy and paste the same formula here. That's the first error that you need to know. Any value that does not match in the fact table, the output is going to be #NA, right? The 2-3 errors that you get to see here, that's all that you will have to make a note of, right? #NA means this particular attribute that you're looking for is not available, right? On the screen, my on-screen keyboard is blocking. It's telling that we could not find what you are looking for. What was I looking for? I was looking for NATE123. In my data, if I do a VLOOKUP, I get the output as NA. Now there is a way to handle it. All I can tell the system is, if error, if the formula is going to be an error, then tell data does not exist and close it. So I will copy it to all of them. Wherever data is matching, I get to see the name. Wherever it is not matching, the second attribute here works. You don't have to really worry about if error for now. Let us limit our information or knowledge only to VLOOKUP. What does VLOOKUP stand for? VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup. How many arguments does it have? It has 4 arguments. One is what you want to look up. 2 is where you want to look up. Third, how many columns do you want? Fourth, do you want approximate match or exact match? You need to try it yourself for you to practice it. It's absolutely not required that you need to memorize the entire stuff. Whenever you enter a function, you get to see the syntax available on your screen. You don't really have to by heart. Yeah, it's good to know information. No harm in learning it. Now, we did this activity for first name, but if I have to do it for region, I'm expected to do a VLOOKUP again. Then select the column, go to the region. Region is in 5th column, which you can see here. I press 5 and I say 0. So I got the answer as south. But then this is again tedious that I will have to do it again and again, right? Wouldn't be it be easy and good if at all I'll have to do it in one go, right? I'll write the formula only here and I will have to simply copy and paste it to all. Is that possible? Yes, it is very much possible. What you did in past classes. Okay, somebody has joined us today, and I recommend, dear, instead of me repeating what we discussed in the past, you can log into your online profile. You can listen to the recorded versions. A lot of stuff that we have completed. Tomorrow when you join back, I recommend you listen to the 4 hours that we have already completed. Okay, so coming back to the case, there is information available here. There are columns available here. But the task, what we just did, required a lot of effort that you had to write VLOOKUP here, copy paste, VLOOKUP here, copy paste, VLOOKUP here, copy paste. So there are some 7-8 steps for one particular cell to get completed. Now, can we reduce it to like 25%? Now, if you are referring to this particular worksheet, there's a question how to prepare this raw data. Now, this particular sheet, whatever I am accessing, is available on your own ExcelR page. If you log in and choose the course that you have applied for, there you will have something called as course material. Click on that, you will get a zip file. You can download this particular file called employees directly. Whatever I am accessing, exactly same file. Right, so try downloading it and keep it ready. Right, so now, so there is a problem in doing a VLOOKUP for each column. So let's say if my data size is huge and I have got about 10 different columns, it's absolutely difficult for me to select that column one by one and choose the number again and again. Is there a way that I can avoid all of it and do it in one go? Yes, it is possible. Just I need to increase would be is the range. So let's say I select this employee ID. I'll go to the same fact table. Instead of limiting to 2, I will select the entire column. So from A till I, there is data. I will select all of it, put a comma, and tell that the first name is in second column. Put a 2 and tell, give me an exact match. So I will close it. I get the same response. Only difference would be is I don't have to repeat the information again, right? So I don't have to really repeat the information again. Now, if you ask me, there is a problem here, right? So now what happened was from S09, the cell you observe here, it moved from I2 to S2. Luckily, the name is matching. That's why the data is coming, but otherwise it will not. So let me change the column to something else. and start date, or let me put salary, that will make more sense. Salary is in column number 7. Right. Let's pick up the salary column first, which is in column number 7, and apply it to all. Now, only the first one is working, but the second one is not. So I need the first name, which is column number 2, which we just read. Let's say the employee code is on the left. Second column is employee ID. I will copy and paste this, but it's not working. Any guesses why does it not work? What happened to the function? Just by look of it, you should be able to. We discussed about this yesterday. Why is that I am not able to get information? Right, so if you just look at the screen here, what happened is the value that you're looking for is 209. If I move to K, see what it has become? It is telling look for salary. Look for salary. I mean, you're trying to find salary on the left, so it's not going to work. You're looking for department. Department here is NA. Matlab, you're trying to look up from here and find the department. No, department can be available only if you have employee code exactly same. Now, what happened was that you have not told that my column will not change. If I want salary, I will still want it for employee code S209. If I want first name, I will still want it for 209 or 029. If I want department, I will still want it for him. However, if I go to the next row, the row will change, column will not. So I will have to tell that, please don't change the column, right? So I will not change the column. Now, the next question comes is, it is referring to the right employee ID, but the fact table is moving. So AI became BJ, then CK. Now the issue is, whatever fact table that you're looking for, that is not frozen. So tell that, please don't move at all. Now I got salary for everybody, right? I got salary for everybody, but I'm looking for first name. First name is in column number 2. I'll go back and tell the system that, you know what, please don't give me salary, give me first name. So I got the first name. Now is the department. Department is in column number 6. I'll go to this and say, give me 6th column. So I got the department. If you refer the numbers, these are exactly same, no difference in it. Just that the order I have done a little here and there. In the difference between this and this is, here you limited the lookup range. You told that my fact table is only from the first one, for example, is only from A to B. The next guy you told it is only from A to E. Then you told it is A to F. Everywhere it is starting from A only, but then the end of it is small. Here, if you refer for everyone, you have the range is same AI, only the number changes, right? Here, get me the 7th column. Here, get me the 2nd column. Here, get me the 6th column. Okay, fine, agreed. This is good information. If at all I have to do it in one go, I will have to tell that, okay, I am little trained on VLOOKUP, so I will do it and say 7, 0 close. So I got salary, first name is in 2nd column. I will do that. Control enter is the key that I just used on my keyboard. So it didn't took much time, but then it still had some amount of effort that I had to change these numbers manually, right? So let's say that I want our entire information, right? Whatever is available here, please get all of it here. Is it possible for you to sit, put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and sometimes your data could be really big? Is there a way that you can avoid it? There's a question, why did we put dollar sign? Dollar sign we spoke yesterday is called referencing, that my data should not move according to uh, my ways. So for example, here I want the row number to change from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, but I don't want the column to change, right? So that's why the dollar is put to the alphabet. Here in between, I'm telling the columns A to I remains unchanged. That is my fact table. This is not going to move left, right. It's going to remain as is. So that's why we told that my fact table will not have any change. So that's the reason dollar. If you really want to know a little more about it, you can refer yesterday's session. It's available. I know I'm being little too fast because we have to cover a lot of stuff and very limited time for us. Okay, so now let's get back and try to figure out. Now, is this the first name? It doesn't look like first name. Is this last name? Maybe. Is this social security number? Definitely no. Now, there is definitely a concern that we need to do away with this. We don't want to be dependent on entering numbers manually. Okay, we don't want numbers to be entered manually. Is there a way that I can change this? Is there a way that I can automate the next step as well? Yes, VLOOKUP can work for any size of data. So it shouldn't be limited. There's a question here. Is this allowed for bulk data? I mean, big data size. Yes, I'm just because it is a sample, I'm showing you with a smaller one, but this can work for about thousands of rows together. Right, so now manually identifying the column number, putting it in the respective place. One, it is tedious. Two, it can be it can create errors, right? So instead of typing 7, you typed 1. So the output that you get to see is the first column, which is not relevant. Is there a way that you can avoid it? Is it possible for us to avoid this information? Yes, it is possible. What we need to ensure is whatever labels you have here, you need to have them available here, right? So the labels available here is first name, then it should be first name here exactly same, right? It should not be like this, that the space is replaced with an underscore. Then this will not work. So we will have to merge VLOOKUP and use a function to get this number, right? To get this number 6, we need to use a function. What is that function? I will quickly tell you. We use something called as match, cricket match, just like that. You have something called as match. I am telling, try to find P2. P2 here is first name. That row will not change, right? So I have all the names available in row number 2, but column may change. So copy paste will be easy for us. I will go back to my raw data and tell that from my fact table, only the first row, okay? Only the first row has the labels. My current data has rows, I mean labels in the first row. My fact table also has labels in the first row. So I will freeze them and tell them that, boy, no matter what happens, you should not become 2, or A should not become B, and I should not become J. So it's gonna remain frozen here. And then it'll ask the same question. How do you want to match? Okay, I want to match exactly same, not a bit lesser, not a bit greater. I want exactly same. Now, if you observe, I get all the data in terms of numbers, right? Even if I interchange them, I will not have any problem at all, right? So it can be reduced to smaller, bigger, whatever you want. For some time, I will hide this so that you can compare these two stuff. Okay, so here is the difference. Here we infuse the numbers manually. Here we are going to make use of a function. So I will reuse the same VLOOKUP formula. and I tell that please ensure the row number is same. My fact table is going to be from A to I unchanged. Then I will tell please match this particular label within the first row. How do you want to match? I want exactly same, and I got it. Let's make it a little more easier that I got everybody's data within few clicks or buttons, right? All we did was we just added one more function or merged two functions together and created our own way to get data within few click. Only once we wrote the formula, and I had to only copy paste it to all of them. So instead of getting to see this NA, we can get rid of it by adding another function, which is if error, and I tell them if error say not applicable, and I copy paste them. Got it. My data looks clean. Everything is answered, right? No efforts at all. If anybody is interested to do it right away, I appreciate if you can download a file, put some random numbers if you don't have the file handy, and try doing a lookup yourself. Like I said that this one is, you get better the more you practice. So that's the beauty of VLOOKUP. Within few minutes, we learned what VLOOKUP is, how to select a range, what columns do we put, how to use referencing, how to use referencing plus match, and then if you get an error where data is not matching, what you should do. Let me move to the next part of it. What happens or few things that you need to take care of when we talk about VLOOKUP. Yeah, there's a question. Can you repeat the match process again? I will definitely do it. So match has three arguments. First one, what you want to look, where you want to look. These will always be in single rows, not a range. I mean, it cannot be like a matrix, let's say a table like this. It should always be either a single row or a single column. Only then it can match. Beyond that, you will only confuse yourself. So if you are using VLOOKUP, it should either be a single row or a single column. In our case, since we are using a first row as a column, first row as we are matching labels. So we have selected that look for first name, which is P2, within the first row, which is A1 to I1, right? Which is A1 to I1. How do you want to match? I want to match it 0. So the output of match is always going to be a number. The output of match is always going to be a number. We just reused that formula here, right? So I am telling here, instead of putting 2, I'm using a match function, because it's very obvious, no, that you can't put 2, 5, 3, 8, 4, 6, 7, 9 here manually. That too, if your data is big, like 20 columns, 30 columns together, it's next to possible that you can try to download, I mean, get this. Right, so there's a question, where can I find the recorded session? Please check your mailbox. You must have received an email from ExcelR with your login credentials. Log in through that. You should be able to help yourself getting to the recording and the material as well. Right, so now let's talk about limitations and problems that you may face when we talk about VLOOKUP, right? So the first requirement of VLOOKUP is that whatever matching column is there, that should always be to the left, and suiting data that you want should always go to the right. So for example, I had social security number. Okay, I have the social security number here, and I need the first name. Can I do a lookup? No, you cannot. We look up this social security number. It is here, and go back. That is from right to left, and give me third column. it will throw an error. No, sorry, I can't find. What it is actually trying to do is it is trying to look from B to D, not from D to B. No matter you type it ulta or whatever, it is still not going to work. It will still throw you an error telling it is not there, data is not present. Hash NA means you don't have the security number. VLOOKUP always moves from left to right. It will never come back, for example here, right to left. It is not going to happen. So that's the first problem statement, that when you have your matching column in between and you want to go to the left, VLOOKUP is not the ideal option. You can find an alternate to it, which could be like copy and put this, make this as the first column and then do a VLOOKUP. That's the immediate solution. But if your data is bulky, you cannot do it. I mean, because it takes a lot of time for you to copy and paste such amount of data. So you just cannot do a copy paste for large data size. Yes, there is an alternate which we can discuss in a few. So the first problem statement with VLOOKUP is that you cannot go from right to left. It will always be from left to right. Right. So from employee code, you can get all the information. If you have first name and you want to know last name, social security number, you can go, but keeping first name, you can't get the employee code because the column is not in order what VLOOKUP entertains. Fair. That's the first issue. Second issue is, let's say that I have this employee ID and I repeat it again and I say, please show me the name Nadeem. Right. So this employee ID is found 2 times. When you try to write a VLOOKUP, first underscore name. So VLOOKUP this guy, please try to find here. It will always pick up the first name, whichever is matching, and it goes from top to bottom, just like the range order goes from left to right. Similarly, VLOOKUP matching criteria starts from top to bottom. Whichever is matching first, that information will be shown to you. If there are multiple, it will pick up only the first one, not the second one. You have same number 2 times, right? S209 is repeated 2 times, but Excel will identify the value only which comes first, or whichever occurs first, exactly matching, but first value. Second value VLOOKUP will ignore. It will not even go there. So it's as good as it starts scanning. Okay, so the employee is S029, start searching S209. Oh, it is here. Just stop. It doesn't go and find till the last. It just doesn't do. Right. So that's the second limitation with VLOOKUP, that you cannot have duplicate values in your fact table. You need to have unique values. And there can be other combination of formulas that if this value is repeated more than once, then don't show data, show something else. So you can use a combination of if, COUNTIF, and then try to call out telling I can't find this information because this name is repeated 2 times in your raw data. So all that is user defined. Let's talk about limitations. So be clear that VLOOKUP has to have the fact column to the extreme left and your data to the right. It cannot go reverse. If there are duplicate rows, if you want to go, it will stop wherever the first value is matching, which is exactly or approximately. Both the cases, it always goes from top to bottom. So if the scan ends in some place and you find the exact value, it will not scan any further, right? Going one step back about errors. So for example, if you are trying to do a VLOOKUP to the column itself, and let's say I selected the fact table, the fact table has got only 9 columns. And if I say 10 to this and say, give me exact match, I get a ref error, which means that column A to I is 11, but you're trying to is 9, but you're trying to call 10th column. If you call 12th column, the error remains same. It can only scan data till 9th column. It cannot go beyond it. So hash NA is one error. When data is missing, it will throw information something like this. So let's say I type 2, 3, 4, 5. This is one kind of error. Second kind of error is if you're trying to specify the column size more than the table size. That's your fact table. If you put it more than that, then you get to see a different error called hash NA. Right, so the data is matching, but the column size is more than that. So you don't get to see the information, you get the error called ref. Okay, so we used match function here, but there is a limitation here that whatever label that you have here should be exactly same. If it does not, then your match function will throw an error. So for example, here I have social security, I will say number. You can see immediately that this is throwing an error just because there is a if error function, it is not showing up. So I will delete them. So it is showing SSN. Why? Because it is not that the column is not there. Column is definitely there, but then what you are trying to match, SSN, does not exist in the first row. If you try to replace it with SSN here as well, you get to see the data. Right? So that's the limitation with match, that your labels, what you try to find here, should be exactly same in the fact table. Only then this will work. I hope I have made myself clear. A lot of practice that is required here. I would appreciate if you spare some time and go through this. In 1 quick minute, I will pick up the next agenda, and then we'll talk about it. I'm pausing my share for 1 second. Okay, there's a question for me. Else how many days or how many hours is this session? So Excel will last for 15 hours. Today we'll be completing 6 hours. So we'll have sessions till Tuesday, post which we will start with the other topic, which would be your PowerPoint and Word. That ExcelR team will let you know. Okay, let's come back and pick up a used case, which is like, I have social security number, but I know that my data is huge. I can't do a copy of this column and move it here. So I can't do a lookup backwards, right? In general, this is known as reverse lookup, right? VLOOKUP works from right to left, so it cannot go backwards. But then if you really want to do it as a used case, what should we do? We have an alternate function to it, which is called index. This is a little complex, but not that great. If you understand the concept of match, index is not difficult. Index is not difficult at all. So how does it start? I will have to tell the system that I want to write a function called index. Now it has about 3 arguments. To get the data which you are showing to us. Okay, if you want to know this data, employee sheet, please log into ExcelR portal. You can get the information from there. Right, so here I will going to use the index function. There are only 3 arguments that are largely required, which is the array, that is the fact table, complete table that you're looking for. What is the row number? I want this 628766529 as the row number. That means you need to find this guy in this column. Then you need to find the column number. So I will tell, okay, index, my fact data is available in sheet raw data from column A to I. I'm telling that it's going to be absolute. So I will put a comma. My next question is, okay, tell me the row number. Okay, so if you want the row number, try to match. What do you want me to match? Okay, match social security number. Okay, where do you want me to match? I'm just reading the formula the way it is, right? It's telling where do you want me to look up? Okay, social security number is available in column D. Okay, how do you want me to match? Obviously, do an exact match. Fine. So now I got the row number. Tell me the column number. Okay, now you want that also. So I will say match. Column name is here. That means my row will not change. Column can change. Do one thing. Go to the fact table. Select the first row. That is the place where you will see this column. Do you want exact or approximate? I want approximate. So we complete the indexed function and I just give a go ahead. The system tells, you know what, I am not applicable. Why? Because first name has an underscore here. Here I don't have an underscore. So I got the data. What we just did was I am trying to select the entire table. In this column, look for that social security number. So you get the row number. Okay. By using match, we try to get the column number, which is 2. So when you write an index starts with column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 9 columns. Then it will start matching row numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's pure game of numbers. Let me translate this to actual. So let's say this guy is in row number 1. Let me pick some other person, not the first one. Let's pick Mark. Mark is in row number 6. So I will delete all the match functions so that you are not confused. Now I am done with the row number. That's why you don't see it. It's been grayed off. It's asking me to give the column number. Column number is actually in second column. So I will put 2. I missed this guy's row number, Mark, right? Mark was in 6, row number 6. So I will tell that index, find me 6th row, second column. Okay. Now if I highlight this, and if you see it, it is row number 6, column number is 2, right? So I'm trying to get the first name for this guy. So if you see that B is nothing but AB second letter, row 6, which is 6 and 2. So that's what index is actually doing with such a big formula, but logically it is doing nothing, but just trying to convert your verbal language into numbers. Yeah, you can set a password. There's a question, can we set a password to your Excel sheet? Yes, you can definitely set a password for your Excel sheet. There are different ways to do so. One would be doing from format. The other one could be when you try to save it, you have the option to do so. Right. So I will repeat the index process again so that it is little easy for you to digest. Index first question. Unlike VLOOKUP, VLOOKUP will tell first what you want to look up, then where you want to look up. But in index, first question asked is tell me the array where the entire data lies. Okay, here is my data where entire information is available. So I will say, okay, tell me the row number now. Where do I find? I want to find social security number. So I will use match and I say, okay, here is the match function. Go to the column social security number. Try to find exact one. So I'm done with the row number. I will say match again. This time, try to find first name. Where do you want me to find? In the first row, obviously, and say exactly correct and 0. By doing all of it, I get the answer for each one of them. Okay. So, but can we copy paste? Yes, you can copy paste. Why not? Which part? There's a question. Can we copy paste? Which part do you want to copy paste here? So if you're talking about copy paste of what I just did a copy and a paste formulas. So I got the same information again. I'll delete it. I'll copy and paste. This is not changing only because I have put a referencing wherever applicable and the exactly same way. Okay. Fine. So there are a series of ways how you can use the next feature that I'm going to talk about. But I really find this is the right place that we talk about it. Now let's say that I don't want the user to change this name, right? So I don't want it to become like first underscore name. I want it to remain as is. Two is that sometimes you may want first name, sometimes I want last name. Oh, it's difficult for somebody to remember, right? Now, is there a way that you can pick up these names and show them here, and I can choose anything from the drop down? I'm sure everybody present here is little or the other tech savvy. You know how things work. So you have an option called data validation, right? Under formatting, you have something called as data validation. I pressed Alt DL to get to this dialog box, and I say choose a list of items. Okay, tell me the source. Where do you want me to pick up? So I'm telling the source is the first row, which we used all this while as the matching label column, and I click OK. Now, if you just observed, with no amount of efforts, what I just created was you choose what information you want. I can show it to you, right? And with no user intervention where somebody you have to type. So if I try to type something here, it'll throw an error. Sorry, bro, I can't do this for you. You can only say, okay, leave it. I choose department, I get to see their department. I choose first name, I get to see their first name. Why is this dynamic? That is because you're using match function. It's trying to look for the column every time I change, right? So that talks about data validation. When you want the user to restrict with certain amount of information only, they don't have to do anything. They need to enter only information that you supply. Then you use data validation. So I'll redo the data validation bit. For now, I will delete all of it. There is no data validation here. There is no arrow key. To do that again, I will have to go to data and then look for data validation, which is here. I get this pop-up, and then it tells what do you want to allow. By default, it is any value. I don't want a number. I don't want a decimal. Instead, I need a list of items. And there are two ways to do it. You can type a list on your own and put it like this, right? So I can now see yes or a no. This is not a use case for this particular situation. Here, I want the use case to be like, don't type it manually. Instead, pick it up from somewhere. So I will click on this up facing arrow, go to my raw data. These are my labels. I will get them all. I don't have to do anything here at all. Just click on this down arrow now and say, okay. So I got all the names which are matching. Isn't that easy? And more importantly is that as in when we move on, as in when we progress, this is definitely needed, right? A lot of topics that we covered so far. I will want to give you a minute or so. If you have any questions, you can just throw it on me. I will try to cover them. There are two questions. You briefly explaining and picking up our questions. So thank you. Okay, no problem. The last part of raw data. Sir, may I know till when the classes? There's a question till when the classes. It will last till 9 p.m. today. Repeat the last part of raw data. There's a question. Can you repeat the last part of raw data? I would encourage if you could specify what part of raw data you're looking for? I mean, I think I discussed a lot of information about raw data. I'm just looking for some sample file, so just down at the screen for some time. Is there any flea on? Oh my God, that's a difficult question to ask. Okay, data validation, last part. Okay. Right, so I will redo the data validation bit. I hope my screen is visible and I'm not, yeah, my screen is visible. Oh my God, Shilpa is suggesting me to go a little slow. Okay, I'll try my best. Right, so adding data validation, first of all, let's understand the use case. Why do we want this to be user restricted, that they don't type anything? We know that match will work only if the column is exactly same here, right? So I don't want the users to disturb this, problem one. Another benefit of it is that you can ensure that you can pick any of these columns and show the information here. For that, we took help of data validation that is available under data. Here you have data validation. You get this dialog box. There are multiple options. For now, I will restrict myself to a list. List has a mandatory question that give me source. Now, source can be given from two ways. One is either you can type something followed with a comma, that will become the list, or you can supply it from any existing place. Since my columns are coming from the fact table, I'm going to the raw data sheet, selecting the columns, and I click on the down arrow that I'm done. All I need to do here, do not try touch this. This is only for system. I mean, it's nothing that it's telling range is equal to raw data, because there is a space. That's why you have those two dots, exclamation followed by the range. Start from A1, go on till I1. So that's all. And it is absolute column, absolute row. Why? Because it should not change. So once I'm done with this, I get to see the drop down available on my screen. I can simply choose toggle between one another. Because this formula has got match function, it is dynamically changing. That's all about match. Here I will want to move to the next part of Excel and give some fun exercises. I mean, it would have been better if a lot of you would have opened Excel sheets and then I could throw some questions and you can find the answer. Can we increase rows after data validation? Yeah, if you want to increase the rows after data validation, yes, you can do. For example, you have already created a data validation and you want to increase it. So the same process, go to data validation, click on up arrow key, and now I want to increase it to something else, right? It will work. But then if you try to choose exact now, it will throw an error. Why? Because the lookup range that you're looking for is only from A to I, but the exact column is in K. So you need to increase the size of your index, then it'll work without any problems. So you need to change your range here. You need to change your range here. So AI should become AK. AI should become AK. If you want, I can test it out for you. I'll say K. I'll say K. What happened, my friend? I'm missing the colon here. Right? AI to AK. A2. Exact. A1. Oh, sorry. It's not K, my friend. It is 1. K1. Right. So I got the value whatever I was looking for. It was absolute referencing. That was again missing. Right, so this was the extract information, not exact actually, it was extract. So I got the information, just that I need to change the range. Okay, so we discussed about uh, extracting date, extracting month, extracting year, extracting text with a combination of date, month, year, month, date and year, date as a name full, sorry, yeah, day as a name, full name, short name, month as a full name, short name. Now let's try to handle some amount of data with time. So let's say I have some information available where I have a list of transactions, and then the data also has hour of the day or the time of the day. Let me open a supporting work file, which is also available with you so that you can follow me. Let me see if there is any data which has time as well. Okay, there is no time information available. Never mind, we will only create our file. Right, so now I have some amount of information available on my screen. Now, if I want to extract a piece of information from it, so let's say I want to know the hour from it. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. All you need to do would be is type the function called hour, choose the range. So it is 8 o'clock, so we picked up 8. Is it possible for you to find minute from it? Yes, it is possible to find minute from it. All I need to do would be is type is equal to minute. It will pick up the minute and show it to you. Is it possible for you to pick up second? Yes, it is possible for you to pick up second as well. Use the same function. All of these are numeral function. That means the output of it is going to be in number, right? It's not going to work if at all the supplied data has text other than number, right? It will not show you any information. Instead, it will show a value, right? So I have data type which has got date, time, month, year, hour, minute, and second. Let's put nanosecond as well. Anyways, you can't extract nanoseconds in your information. I mean, in with the help of any function. Okay, so now let's try to move a little ahead and say that, can you extract hour, minute, and second exactly the way it is? That is, I wanted something like this. You can see my screen. I don't want the date from it. Instead, I want only the time from it. How do I do it? I need to make use of the text function only. We spoke about this yesterday. I'm repeating it. So there are two arguments. First one tells, show me the value you want to convert or extract text from. So I'm telling this is my value. Put a comma, put two inverted and tell I want hour, minute, and second. I'm done with it. If I give enter, it picks up the entire information, but in a text format. This is not a number. If you want to convert it to a number, you can make use of value, then change it to a number, right? So if you want to get hour, minute, second, or hour and minute, or minute and second, then you need to take help of text and use this option, because otherwise you will only get the order like this, not like one formula and everything. That's not going to happen. This is useful when you want to apply a pivot. This is useful when you want to refer some amount of calculation, some type of calculation. Okay, there's a question. How are you opening the format cells dialog box? Now, if you want to open it from your end, you will have to click on from home, click on any of these down facing arrows or right bottom facing arrows, or press Control 1 on your keyboard. It will open the dialog. See that? We spoke about this also yesterday. Right? Control 1 is the shortcut to get the dialog box. Okay, so now we know how to extract hour, we know how to extract minute, we know how to extract second. Now let's try to get a little deeper and try to find the difference between the dates. Right? So if at all, let's say that I have this date and I need to know that, you know what, in 2000, let's say 10th of August 2021, can you tell me how many days have been passed? All you need to do would be this minus this, and then that should tell you what is the difference between these two dates, right? It should work, right? First greater number than the lesser number, and you get the answer that these are the number of days which are being passed. Questions for me here? If there are any, please do. No? Okay. Okay. Okay, just like we extracted month, date, year in the earlier session, we also have an option to extract week, right? So week generally has option called week number, which means it is going to tell you a year may have 52, 53 weeks. It can tell you in the year of it how old this particular day is, or which week does this particular guy fall. So for that, there are only two arguments. One is choose the serial number, it's the date, put a comma and tell which day should I start. Should I start Sunday to Saturday, Monday to Sunday, and so on. So I will say, okay, please consider Monday as the start date and close it. So we are currently is week number 6. If I have to ask the same information to this guy, give me week number this, day starts on a Monday, and I close it. I get the answer as this. So similarly, I mean, there may be a place where the week is starting on a Thursday, Friday, whatever. Or in some cases, the week starts in between the week, which is a Wednesday or so on. So we can try to modify them. Otherwise, week number is one way of extracting week information, but in some cases, people prefer to have a standard week, which is also called as ISO week number. This does not accept or allow you any argument other than a date. So this by default considers Monday as the start date. You just select it, it will pick up the week and show it to you. Now the difference is because the value there is different, the start date is different. The start date here is, oh sorry, the week start day is different there, week start is different here. And more importantly, ISO week will also overlap the days which are ending in your previous year. So for example, year is ending on a Wednesday and the next year starts for after 4 or 5 days. I mean, the next 4 or 5 days are following the same week. So the ISO will add that week, those days into the current year's week. It will not move ahead. I mean, will not consider the next one, but the formula above, which is week number, will consider every Monday to the last day as weekend. I mean, the last day is the week completion for the year. Not a good option to use the other one. This is the ideal recommended one where you can have a standard definition of a week number that Monday to Sunday of a year, wherever whichever has a complete week is being considered as a week number. Okay, so this is about week number, and then we got day, year, etc. Let's go back and try to learn some text, some more amount of text functions. I will hide this information and this one as well. So let's say if you want to add first name and last name, what do we do? If I have to add first name and last name, what do we do? So it's not a number that you can tell this text plus this text, give me the output. It will say it is an error because these two are number, plus will work only for numbers. What do we do? We can use another operator called AND. What it has done, it has merged both the piece of text, Mike, Mickey, Anderson. So I can simply copy and paste it. I got the answer. But then there is a challenge here that the space, the white space that is required in between these two is missing. How do I get that also added? One is that simply call it separately and then add it. So it's trying to merge three pieces of information, which is B2 and between two quotes, there is a small space here, which may not be visible to you. So I have put two quotes and I can supply any text here, right? So if you want to put any text into information, like we did it for if yesterday, you put quotes and then you call your text. So we put the text here and then put a and then give the second column. So I copy and apply this time. This time names look much, much better, right? So how do I merge two text? One old school method is using and. Now there are other ways of doing it also, which I will quickly show it to you. Let's say I have a supported column here, which has got only a space. I will highlight it in some color that we remember that there is a space here. There is nothing else but single space here. So there is an inbuilt function called concatenate in Excel, which can add texts. So text piece 1, text piece 2, text piece 3, and so on and so forth. So here, my first text is here. I will not use ampersand symbol. Instead, I will use a comma. My second text is supposed to be a space. So I will tell you are not going to change absolute column, absolute row. Put that. I'm done with the second text. Now I need to put the third text and then I'm done. I will close it. I get the same output. The previous one was used when there was no concatenate functions available in Excel. Now though we have some more advanced feature called concat, which can consider a range together and merge all of them together, right? So to mix two texts, two options are available. One, you can merge this way. Two, you can merge it this way. Third one is only concat function, which will also work just like this one. But the beauty of concat is that it can consider a range together. That is, merge from AM till A10 in one go. Concat will only accept one piece of string at a time. It cannot consider a range. Can you use apostrophe? Yeah, if you there's a question here. Instead of putting this space, what I have put, can I use an apostrophe? I can definitely do it. The first apostrophe is gone away. It will not be visible. So I need to put two. I can see the name instead of space. It is replaced with a apostrophe. Not a recommended solution. If you have a single yes or something, then you may want to use apostrophe, proper English. Okay, so that is about merging two texts. Now let's try to extrapolate or add some more amount of information to the existing data. Now that we have full name, let's say if you want to make this into lowercase, what do we do? There's a function within Excel called lowercase. It accepts only one argument, which is the text, and then close it. Entire piece of information will become in lowercase, right? You will not find a single text which will be in uppercase. All of it has been auto adjusted to lowercase. I will tell you a used case or give you a used case for you to handle it, and when created how to handle it. Similarly, we have uppercase where I want all the text to be in uppercase. What function do we use? It's the simple one, which is upper, lower, upper, only one argument allowed, which is the text itself. Just select it, apply the formula to all of them. Your text is now converted all into uppercase, right? So that's upper, lower. How did you hide the data? Okay, there's a question here. How did I hide the column? Now, to hide the column, one way is that you need to go to home, go to format and hide it, or simply select it, say Control-0, it will hide it. To unhide it, you need to take a long process, which is Alt-H-O-U-L. Ignore about it for now, not relevant. Make use of the format option to hide, unhide, and you have the options here. Make use of them. Shortcuts may take some time. Split the full name with first name and last name. Thanks for addressing or picking this topic up. I will answer this in a few. So there's a next question here. If I want to split, we learned how to merge. Now, if you want to split from one to another, what do we do next? So we will quickly finish the next one, which is called, let's say, camel case. Camel case is where your first name is first letter of whatever name you're writing should be in capital, rest of all in lowercase. This is a proper example of a camel case. Now, if at all somebody is sending me data in this fashion or in this fashion, now if I want M to be capital in this example, M to be in capital and A to be in capital, how do I do it? To use this one, we use something called as proper and select the cell or place where the text exit. Only one argument is allowed, which is the text itself. So I say proper AQ0. Now I get the data all into proper case, which is first letter capital of each word before a space. Each word before a space. Once space comes into picture, your job is done. Its job is done. It will not try to do the next letter into uppercase until space is found. Okay, let's move a little ahead and try to find or add more amount of information to the existing data which is available. Let's say I want first letter of the first name. Since we already have the first name available in first column, can you please repeat the camel case? Definitely I can do it. So here I am referring to a text which is already in uppercase, and I'm telling that I don't want a name to look little odd and little offensive to write everything in capital. Instead, I will use a proper case, PROPER, proper. Select the cell and say close. I don't have to do much. The system does it all and ensures that only the first letter is capital. Rest of all is in lowercase. And this will go on till the time a space is found. So if you type a story and you say proper case, not only the first letter will be for a paragraph, but all the words which have a which starts after a space will become camel case. So this works really good if at all you have only names. But if you have a story in a cell and you want it to be proper, then your statement will completely be like every alphabet, every word that starts after a space will become first letter capital. So I will apply this to all. Now let's move on to the next part, which is I am telling try to get the first letter of the first name. So English is written from left to right. Everybody knows it. So it starts from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Arabic and some of the other languages which starts from right to left. In this case, it's a universally accepted language, English. That's why we have, if you want first letter of the first name, that means the series of this word Mickey starts from left, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In other terms, it is like first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So I have 6 letters and everybody has got their own name. I don't want all of it. I want only the first letter. I will answer somebody's question that how to split data if at all I have a full name, right? So now let's address the first part. If you want something from your left side, just select the cell. Two arguments are mandatory here. One is the cell itself, the text, put a comma. Now you need to tell how many characters do you want, my friend. I told give me the first character, which is the first letter. So I say 1 and close. I got M across. So I got the first letter of everybody without having to do anything. Similarly, can I get the last letter of something? Last name. If at all I have to do that, I need to use a function called write. Two arguments. One is the text. Two is how long do you want. So if I'm starting from right, that means you need to tell me you want me to start counting from right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do you want me to do that? Yes, no. You need to answer it and tell that yes, I want you to just get me the first letter from the right side. Okay, count it in reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So give me only the first letter. So for him it will be N, this guy also N, this is Lee, so it's going to be E, this is R. Now here N does not seem to be in the case that I want. What should I do? Can somebody post it? Can we get the last letter of first name? Yeah, obviously. There's a question, can I get the last letter of the first name? Yeah, you can. All I need to do is change the text. Instead of first name, I will take the first name. So this time I got Y, Mickey, Mickey. So in reverse it is 1. So 1, I have it. I got the last name. I will keep it to C for now so that we can reuse it. Now I have a problem here that, you know what, since these are only initials, right? These are initials. I need to create a code out of it, for example, or for assumption for now. If I want this also to be looking into the same pattern, which is everything is capital here by default, because my original data here, first letter is capital. That's why it is showing. But here I see this in lowercase. How do I ensure that this guy becomes capital? I want one or two answers. If you are closely observing this, I want this N, whatever I see, to become capital. What do I do and where do I write? Can we get two letters? Yeah, obviously. You can say 2. Right? So you get 2 letters of the last name. So here I have Anderson, S-O-N. So I got O-N. Right? So if I say 3, I get to see 3 letters. Son, S-O-N. So 3 letters are here. Okay. My question is unanswered. Somebody has posted an answer, but a little incorrect. Yeah. So my question, I will repeat again. Here I have first letter of the last name, but the case is not user friendly. I want it to be little different, which is it should be like this. What do I do? It's a question, open question. Anybody who picks up to answer will be glad. Okay, good one. Proper, but where? Somebody try to answer it. Okay, somebody said left upper, right upper. Both of them are good attempt. I can say upper right, good attempt, but no, that's not what I have told you here. I told something else. So you need to tell me what should I do. So this piece of information has now become a text. Okay, this piece of information has now become a text. All you need to tell the system is, okay, do one thing, my friend, convert this into upper piece of text and close. All my information is now in uppercase. Right? So let's say if I have first letter of first name, but I don't want it to be in uppercase, I want it to be in lowercase. Right? I say lower piece of text. I don't know what the text is, that system will tell you. copy, paste, I got all in lower text. Right, so adding two functions, right? Right, I prepared the right function first and I got some information. All I know is that whatever I have written, the output of this is going to be text. Yeah, exactly. So upper or lower or proper actually needs the value as a text. So I will tell that, okay, friend, try to make it upper to this text and just close it. So I got the answer that all my data is in uppercase. Right, right. Got it. So any questions for me till here? Yes, no, maybe. Okay. Let's try to create a secret key of this particular person. Okay. Now I'm in process to create a secret key. That means it is going to have certain criteria before I do that. Okay. Thank you. Right. So now there is no sorry, there is set criteria if you want to create a secret key, or you can say that this is going to be his password or a pin. Let's say that my first criteria is that consider first letter, consider first letter of first name, last letter of last name, okay, we did not speak about something on purpose. The third criteria is that 2 digits of SSN which comes after the first 3 digits. Oh, this one is a little complicated. Yeah, I've not told you how to do it, so I will definitely explain. So this, for example, is going to look something like ND07, right? So NADEEM, Nadeem, AHMED, Ahmed. Let's say my social security number has a 07 after the first 3 letters. Now it's a little difficult for anybody to figure out. I'm telling, ignore the first 3, pick up only the 7, 6 in between or in middle. Okay. Now, how do we address this? I will make a copy of this here so that it's easy for you to relate to. We need to use a function called middle. Okay, I'm telling that, okay, I need some amount of information, but I needed to have or started in between somewhere. So we learned left, we learned right. That was pretty easy. Now I am telling the used cases, find something in between of this. So I will select this guy. That's the first argument, that text. Where do you want to start? All 3 are mandatory. Where do you want to start? So let's count. Start from ignore 1, 2, 3. So I am reading as 62 is 1, 6 is 1, 2 is 1, 8 is 1, hyphen is 4. So I'm telling, do one thing, my friend, start from 5. How many characters do you want from 5? So it's going to be this and this. So 2 characters. And I close it. Wow, magical. What just happened was 6 is going to be the first letter, first text, second, third, fourth. Start from 5, go on to 2 characters. So it's going to be 1, 2, right? So we will reuse this here and generate a secret key. So first let's try to write mid. Go to the column where SSN is there. Let's count the same process. 6 is 1, 2, 3, 4. So start from 5. I need 2 numbers and I close it. So I'm done with the last part of it. let's try to add the other text. Now we spoke about concatenate. Let's make use of it here. First name, comma, last name, comma, 2 digits of the social security number. So I got the secret key mentioned here. Now, if I want to randomize it, basically I'm telling that somebody should be upper, somebody should be lower. If that is possible, I mean, that is also possible that you can specify that, you know what, this guy should be lower, this guy should be upper, and you try to play around with it. So the other person will not have any clue about it, what you're trying to do. Let's say I want to add another condition, and let's say date of that particular person's, let's say that is a start date. So let's say it is date of joining, which is DOJ. Date from the DOJ. How do I get DD from a text? So I have a date available here. I need to get DD out of it. Any suggestions? Can you explain concatenate once again? Yeah, I will definitely do it again, Zohair. There is a question from my end. I want to get DD from this date. I want DD. So DD in this case will be 01. DD in this case is going to be 10. DD in this case is going to be 23. So I want to extract D from a piece of information. Now, somebody attempted to answer. I must appreciate. Good job. Now I will show you an example and the difference between what happens. So the answer given is try to use a day from this. Now the issue with this is you will get the day but not in DD format. So until it goes till 10, right? So it's not going to give you any other information other than the first digits. Right, so you get to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and till 9 it's going to be remaining same. From here it's going to be DD, otherwise it's only going to be D. Right, that's the start of it. So date function may not be appropriate here. We will have to use this text function so that the day comes in both of them. I appreciate the answer. Somebody got it exactly correct that it should be date. So I will use :DD close and then close this. So I got the answer. Now if you observe, all of it has a 0 in the beginning, which is DD 2 times. A day may have single digit or more than one. That's up till 31st of whatever date it is. But irrespective of it, the length of the text is going to remain as is, which is 2 characters. So we want to merge text, which is first name and last name and the middle 2 digits of the social security number. And we also this time want, give me 1 minute. Really sorry, folks. There was an emergency. Okay, so we were repeating the concept of concatenate along with adding text. So we want to merge text in AS2, text in A2, AT2, then find two characters of this. That's why we used a mid function. And then I'm telling this time, find DD from column H. I'll say DD, close, and I'm simply merging text after text. That's why the concatenate function. So now my social security number is generated. Sorry, the secret key is generated. Let's do a quick check that, you know what, the length of this particular text should not exceed more than certain capacity. So what is the size of this? The length of my secret key should be 6. It cannot be more than 6. Now, how do I know from a piece of text what is the length of it? How can we figure out the length of it? So let's say length length. Now, if I need to know the length of it, I need to use the function in short of length called len, right? There is only one argument which tells, okay, give me the text. Here is the text. So I got the answer that the output is 6. Oh, it is 6. So that means I am on target. But is there a way that you can directly tell that, yes, you are correct, no, you are not correct? We can use something called if len is equal to 6, then the key is as per the norms. There is some error. Right, so I got the answer for all of them and it is systematic. Okay, I don't have to do anything manually. All of it, system has checked it and told that, you know what, all the length of this particular column is equal to 6. That's why the answer is the key is as per the norm. So I will remove the if function and leave the len as is so that you can relate to what we are actually trying to. How to find out secret key, sir? Okay, secret key. Okay, so we just prepared a secret key. I will redo the entire stuff again. Okay, so let's try to understand what we are looking for. I am looking for first letter of first name, which is already here. Then last letter of last name, which is already here. The functions are available here that I am trying to find left of first name. Here I'm finding right of first name. So I got first letters. Then 2 digits of social security number. For that, we used a mid function. It is mid. I have the SSN. Start from 5th number, which is 6, ignore 2, ignore 8, ignore hyphen ignore, which is equal to 4. So I don't want these 4. Instead, I want to start from 5 and limit to 2. So I keep it to, I got the mid value as 76. Now the next condition is that give me a date, DD, from date of join. So I will use the text function, go to the date value and call DD and close it. So I got the DD, which is all of it. All I need to do to create a secret key would be is concatenate, because concat is not available in the older version of Excel. So concat first letter, last letter, mid 2 characters of your SSN, and then DD. And I close it. I got the secret key. If you need to know the length of it, how long it is, we use this len function and then simply close it. Apply to all. I get to see that everybody has a 6 digits secret key. So that's how we got the secret key. Right, so if there is any questions till here, please let me know. So too much of knowledge that we have got so far. We tried to learn lower, proper, upper, mid, left, right, concatenate. Then we also added some bit of text information in it. Right. So now let's try to say that, I mean, I have good amount of time to repeat it. So there's a question. Can you repeat the DD part again? Now, DD is nothing but date in 2 digits, right? So date in 2 digits here is actually, this is a number like 36,739. So you can't extract this information directly. So you need to use a external function called text. So I say text, select the cell where the date lies, put a comma and tell, give me DD. DD means date in Excel's knowledge, and I put a comma. So it will only pick up 01. I mean, it will first convert this number to a date. From that date, a proper calendar date, which is year, month, and day, it will pick up only DD, but in 2 numbers, which is 01, 02, 03, 04, 09. Rest of all will go as it, which is 10, 11 till 31. So can secret key have any number of digits? See here, secret key here, I was the person who decided how I want it to be. So secret key can be of anything. I mean, it's up to you. Here I am the owner, that's why I only described how it should be. But if you are defining of your own, it can be of any length. There was just a question, thought to answer it. Right, so we got the secret key. Now let's try to understand or try to get some more details in the text order itself. So let's say that, you know what, I am little concerned that if there is a text, a secret key, let's say, which has got 002 times, right? So for example, here you have 3001, here you have MN 3001 again, here you have 3001 again. I want those 11 to be replaced with something else. Now that something else could be a standard number, that something else could be anything. But then the objective here is that anybody should not have a repeated number 00 anywhere, right? I mean, I'm creating my own used case, not necessarily it should be absolutely relevant, right? So now, if you want to do so, so if you have a text and you want to replace it with any amount of text, yeah, I will answer that question, dear, right? I have not addressed this part as in how to extract characters from a specific text, right? I will address it. Just stay with me for some time, right? Let's close how to replace some bit of information. So for example, let's say that I have name as, right? So here it is Nadeem Ahmed. Here I have something like this, right? Now I have a dollar here and I want to get rid of it, right? I don't want a dollar. Instead, this dollar should take over the value of a space. Is that possible without having to fiddle with the real text? Yes, it is possible. Can you please repeat how do we get length? What is DOJ? DOJ stands for date of joining. I will elaborate it here. I'm repeating the other part. Date of joining. Okay. Back to the topic. Let me address the other question which was there. Can you please repeat how to get length? Right. So to get the length, there is a very simple argument. Len is the name of the function. It accepts only one value, which is a text. So len, select the cell and close it. So if you want to know what is the length of your name, you need to type would be is Nadeem Ahmed and say is equal to len, close it. You get to see what is the length of your name. I mean, it's a good activity. You can try doing it when more relevant for you to refer. Now, the used case in our situation is that I have Nadeem Ahmed, I don't want that dollar to be available. So if you don't want that to be available, I will have to use the function called substitute. There are 4 arguments in it. The last one is optional. If you don't leave it, it will replace all of them. If you specify a number, then it will work only for that instance. So let's say I have Nadeem Ahmed, so that's going to be my text. It's asking, can you tell me what is the old text? So I know my old text is going to be $1. What do you want the new text to be? Okay, the new text is supposed to be a space. Where do you want to? I will leave it as is, because wherever it is there, just replace all of them. Now, if you observe, all my data is clean. I have the correct name available here, right? So I try to find $1, replace it with a space. So the syntax is, what text, what do you want me to find, and what do you want me to replace with, right? That's the logic. Now I have the problem statement here that, you know what, I have a secret key, but then I'm little not okay for somebody to type the same digit 2 times immediately. So if anywhere there is a 00, just replace it with, let's say, 02, right? Let's say anywhere there is a 00, replace it with 02. Okay, or let's say that instead of 01, let's say I want to put it as D0 or duplicate 0, something like that. That means whatever that 00 is, that just do away with it and repeat something else, right? So we are giving the same example of substitute again. So we will any kind of data. Yes, it will replace any. The question here, will substitute replace any form of data? So one example we already saw, that what substitute did was it found $1 and replaced a space, right? Now this time I'm going to find a 00 in a text. Okay, this is my text, old text. Please try to find 00 replaced with D0, and then where do you want to? I mean, I leave it as is. You decide wherever it is available. Now just observe, this is the place where 00 exists. Now the output of this is going to be MN3 D06. So what did it just do? It replaced those 00s with my own text, right? It replaced that 00 and my own text. Now, if you want it to be like, let's say that I want the last 2 digits of the social security number, which is, this is the social security number. I want the last 2 digits of that to come in here. Yeah, possible. All I need to do would be is, I'm telling, replace this, get the last 2 digits of the social security number and replace it. So here you go. I don't have to define what I want to put there. I will tell the system, you only decide, but I don't want repeated 00. So it has simply replaced that with the last 2 digits of the security number, right? So this becomes more complex and people can't guess it, right? I mean, that's only the used case of it, but otherwise the objective is for me to tell you, what does a substitute do? Substitute does is, it will identify a piece of text and replace with user defined text, whatever you want it to be replaced with, right? So that's about substitute. I will now talk about getting information from a piece of text. So we already spoke about left. Left is to get data from the left side and the count of it. Right is to get the data from the right. Mid is to get the data from the middle. But there are some instances where I want to split the text. I'm using same information so that you can also refer them. Now I want to, let's say, pick up. So there was one example somebody showed how to, I will read the question so that Okay, so I have a number 12456789102456789. I want is 456789. Right? There is a beautiful question that somebody has asked. I will have to regenerate some numbers. Let's say I have to write 2 digits here, some 3 digits here, 5 digits here, some 7 digits here. So I say rand between 10 to 99. Okay, so I get 2 digits. Here I want 3 digits, so it's going to be 100 to 999. So I get 3 digits. I want 5 digits here, so it's going to be 5 numbers and 5 numbers, right? 4 to 5. Okay, now I need to add one more zero. Ah, mere bhai, good job. Right, so I got 5. Let me delete this. Let me repeat the same information here. Okay, let me merge all of them first. Is equal to concatenate. I am generating some data so that you can relate to it right away. Comma, this guy, 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 comma, this guy. So I have generated some random numbers on my screen. I will keep this as a value. Now the question is, let's say I want to pick up 986 and 6100 here, and then 453719115. What do I do? Well, if you are a good or a decent amount, I mean, if you have spent decent amount of time uh, with Excel and formulas, you can use find function along with some mid criteria to find exactly what you're looking for. But otherwise, if you're a newbie, what is the meaning of rand between? Pick up any number between two ranges. So there's a question, what is the meaning of rand between? I will answer that when we pick up the topic. Right, so now here the requirement is pretty clear that I want this 3 digits, that hyphen, and then 60100. There are two ways of doing it. One is that you can use a mid function, then use a find function to identify where is that first hyphen, and then identify where is the third hyphen, and take only that piece of information. But it is a combination of left, right, mid, etc., etc. But otherwise, if you're a newbie and you don't really want to spend a lot of time, all you need to do would be is train your Excel how to do it for you. So I just copy pasted what I want. I will do the same information, same activity here, and then do a control E. Magic. Yeah, I know it will be difficult for you to digest, I mean, or rather understand in one go. So I am telling, okay, dear, edit the text, keep going the left. You can observe the cursor here. I'm holding shift. This is a problem with this. Okay, now I say copy. I go to tab, control V. Okay, I'm here now. I press F2. I take my cursor to the last guy, hold my shift, and highlight what I am looking for. I copy it, give tab, paste it. Now I have trained Excel already what I am looking for. If I want Excel to do the same activity by itself, I will not do anything. I will only do is control E. It has done flash fill. If you try to map the numbers, it's exactly same. Right? So this is called flash fill. I hope that answers the question, whoever raised this. Sir, if you want one single text or word to be separated, into 2, then what should be done exactly? That's the next topic. I will answer this. Ishan Singh says mid A2 4 and 9. Yeah, that should work, Ishan. If you know the length of it, that will absolutely work. Good one. Right. So now, I hope this has addressed your question. So let's say that I have a piece of text and I want to split 2 characters, 3 characters, 5 characters, 3 characters into separate columns. Right. Sometimes my data would be written like everything is filled in single column. Now I want to delimit it. In Excel's language, it is called delimited, that the text is separated with a identifier, and I want to delimit it. If you want to do so, you will have to take help of text to column function, which will open a dialog box something like this. Use the column called delimited and then say next. I'll repeat the steps again. To do this, select the column first, which you want the text to be split between 1, 2, 3, 4. To do that, go to data, click on text to column. You get a dialog box like this. There are 2 options. Fixed width, you can click where till where you want the text to be divided into. Not relevant in this stage. So I will use delimited. There are list of options. Okay, how do you want me to divide it? You have a tab, you have a semicolon, you have a comma, you have a space. I don't see anything here. Instead, I have something else of my choice. It will accept only 1 character. So I put a hyphen. I can see the sample data already here. I will say next. And where do you want me to paste? So it should start at D1, or you want me to start elsewhere. Okay, do one thing, start somewhere else. So I will click here so that my original data is not getting changed. I will do it here and I say finish. So you see all my text is split between different columns by itself. What did just happen was it identified the common delimiter, that hyphen is present everywhere. We used text to column, told the system that it is not a comma, not a tab, not a space. Instead, it is other and hyphen, and then we split into multiple columns. So this is about text to column. A lot of learning today. I hope you will be able to recollect them. In fact, for your help, you also have the online recordings available. Do refer them and try to cover all that we spoke today. That's going to be of great help for you in your career. Yeah, definitely. I can repeat the text to column process again. So here is the text, and I have the requirement that these 3, these 5, these 3, and these 2 should be split between these columns separately. For that, you need to go to data. You have text to column, delimit with, say next. What is the character? By default, it will be unchecked for now because I already did it. The system is trained now. So I need to check it, specify the character here, say next, and finish. I get all of it because I did not change the destination. That's why my original data is erased. So I'll repeat it again. Go to text to column, keep the radio button on delimited with, next, keep the delimiter as hyphen, which is in other. Next, where do you want the data to be? Let's say I want it in E1, not in the same cell. That will override the existing information. So all my original data is transformed into multiple columns. So this is all about it. Great. I equally enjoy sharing this information. Thanks for the acknowledgement. I hope you had great amount of learning today, a lot of knowledge. Please carry forward and make use of it. And that's it for me from today, because the next topic that I'm going to take will take a lot of time. So we'll have to start again tomorrow with the fresh topic. Right. So that's it from me. You have a lovely evening. See you tomorrow at 7. Thanks, folks. Yeah, I'm still here. Please go on, ask your question. Okay. There is a question for me. A lot of people have already left, but I still will tell you. So tomorrow we're going to talk about conditional formatting or some bit of coloring. That is going to take a lot of time. So that's our core agenda for tomorrow. How can we change the words from lowercase to uppercase all in words in a Word document? That's not going to happen, Ishan. I mean, as far as I know, Word, it is not going to change anything in Word document. You can take that data, put it in a cell in a Excel file, apply the formula as upper, lower, whatever you want to, take the data back into Word. That's the easy solution. I hope that answers your question, Ishan. Quite difficult. Can we capitalize alternate text? Possible, yes, it is doable, but you need to write a complex formula for it to, function or a combination of functions to do it. First, you need to identify which one to be upper, lower, upper, lower, upper, lower. So it's going to be a combination. Possible though. Hannah, it's a good question. I don't know how frequently it is used, but doable. Okay. Thanks, folks. Have a lovely evening. I'm logging out. Bye.
Kumar?
Yes, Tirunal, you can wind up now.